What's up, everybody? Welcome. Today I'm going to talk about something that is very special to me, and that is my sorter cases. Now, if you're watching this video, I'm assuming most of you, it's going to be because you're a big fan of Adam Savage, and in one of his videos you probably saw his SORTIMO cases, and you thought, I want to do that, but those SORTIMO cases are expensive, so I'm going to go find a cheap solution. Well, that's what I did. I was highly inspired by his boxes, and I said, I have to have that. The kind of work that I do here in my shop, that's just, I don't know how I didn't think of that sooner. I don't know why I don't already have all of my stuff sorted into cases. Now, here's the thing. If you came across this video in that manner, you've likely watched several people do this before me. So what I'm going to do is just highlight some of the things about why I made the choice on these boxes and what I did to modify these boxes to my particular use case. And then you can take that or you can leave that, and maybe these boxes will be for you. Maybe I can help you in some way pick the right box if this isn't the one, because I've looked at a lot of boxes. So let's get into it, okay? So the sky is the limit as far as how much you can spend on these boxes. SORTIMO boxes themselves can cost upwards of $100. So you can take a little trip to Home Depot or Harbor Freight and find a much cheaper option. Now, you're not gonna get anywhere near as customizable as the SORTIMO boxes do as far as the different size and number and variety of containers you can put inside of the boxes, but there are a few options. And the option that I went with is a Husky box, okay? The main reason I went with this Husky in particular is because out of all the options I was looking at, it had a good price, which is $10 a box, and it had a nice medium-sized set of containers. That was important for me because though I do want to sort nuts and bolts and the things that you're probably thinking about sorting in these boxes yourself, I also wanted to be able to store things like, I don't know, my sets of batteries. I have a box full of my USB cables, just wrapped up individually and stored in there. Not only do I have my Dremel bits in this box, but I also have my Dremels in there as well. So I just wanted to go about my storage with these boxes a little bit different than you might, but I like the size of the containers inside of this. So if you'll come over here, I will show you the inside of my bolt box. This is the two size containers that comes in this box. They both come in this gray, but I painted several of them different colors just for a visual contrast. No real reason. But inside of this box, it's a little bit more fancy because I have 3D printed another half-size box. So there is the normal size sorter that comes in it, and then there is the half size. So, you know, this is a bit overkill for some of the bigger stuff. These trays are perfect for some of the other things I have to sort, but for nuts and bolts and smaller parts, I needed a half size. I have 3D files for these. If anybody ends up watching this and says, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go with this Husky option. I'd like to have those 3D files. I mean, let me know, I can post them, but if you have a 3D printer, a basic box like this is very likely to be something that's very easy for you to design. I designed them on Tinkercad. It took me about 20 minutes to design each one, and it worked out. These are actually some of my latest 3D print prototypes. They are just equal to the original trays in size, but they have a bunch of individual sorters, and these are probably the most useful ones I've made yet. After printing 3 or 4 custom trays for my sorter boxes, I realized that 3D printing was not going to be sustainable. A, it took too much plastic, and B, it just took too long. That was the most important thing. I didn't want to take the weeks and weeks of 3D printing it was going to take to print enough custom trays for all these boxes. So what I did was, I got clever, I did the math, I reduced the size of my 3D files ever so slightly so that they could be perfectly vacuum formed and replicatable. And now I have a full set of custom trays for my sorting boxes. Another thing about my boxes that you will notice are these huge white labels. But if you come a little bit closer, come on all the way in here, you'll see that I have 2 sets of labels on every one. Batteries, metric bolts. That's my newest box. I've not actually put the big white label on here, but down here, Dremel. So what happened was, I labeled these boxes with my normal label machine, and I thought that's great. Now I'll know what each one is, but look, I come over here. Even just the second row down from where I'm standing, I can't read the small labels. So that's a problem. So what I did was I got my vinyl cutter out, my trusty dusty vinyl cutter, and I took the measurements of the top square, I printed them all out, I ran into a little bit of trouble because the vinyl did not want to stick to this plastic. So every single one of these squares, I took a piece of sandpaper to. And once I sanded up, I actually sprayed a little spray glue and then I put the stickers down. And now those stickers are very unlikely to come off ever. So as far as other options go, I went to Home Depot and I filmed a little bit. There's a bunch of other options. There are sorters with bigger trays inside than I have, and there are smaller ones. This was probably the cheapest Home Depot option that still had removable trays. At Home Depot, there were definitely options that were cheaper, but you couldn't pull a tray out and walk over to the other side of the room with it. The cheapest option probably with removable trays is going to be the Harbor Freight option. The regular price on them, I've actually seen regular prices vary a little bit between $10 and $12 for the regular size sorter, removable tray sorter at Harbor Freight. But if you find a Harbor Freight where they're $10, you can also always go in with a 20% coupon and buy them individually for about $8. So you're gonna end up probably $20, $30 cheaper for a set of 15 to 20 than I did getting these Huskies. But again, there's so many use cases. You may not need the removable storage like I do. It just helps me to come over here, take the box off my shelf, put it on this lovely, lovely, what I believe is a surgical tray. And it fits them perfect. This was just luck. I found the surgical tray in the trash. I brought it inside and hey, what do you know? My sorter boxes fit right on top of it perfectly. So you put it on here and you go, okay, I don't need this taking up more space on my workbench. I'm gonna take these and I'm gonna run off. Now, plenty of people have taken to building their own custom shelves for their sorting boxes. And I was about to do so, but before I could get around to it, I actually found this very shelf sitting outside of my apartment complex right by the trash can. And just looking at it, I knew these sorter boxes were gonna fit. So I brought it inside, and sure enough, I can get 6 boxes on each one of these shelves. They are perfect fit. There's no extra room in there. They all slide right in. It's great. I probably will build a custom shelf for them in the future when I get a few more, but right now in this size workshop, this is all I can fit. I can't put any more in, so it is what it is for now. So that is it, guys. That is my spin on the custom DIY SORTIMO box set. What I want to know is anybody watching this going to use these boxes? Has anybody else used a alternative box that I didn't show or talk about? I want to know. I want to know if there's something better. If anybody has used this box and also 3D printed their own files, I want to know about it too. And if you're feeling like sharing, let us know.
Hey, I'm a shark with a top hat, and I think you should subscribe. Go ahead, hit the button. I'll wait. Okay, bye.